So I stopped in Costco on the way home yesterday and saw some briskets. They were graded prime USDA, so I brought them home, cut this one in half, injected it with beef broth, and it's been marinating overnight. It's now noon on Saturday, April 1st, no April Fooling. So I'm going to see how this works to go about cooking, not low and slow, but high and fast. I'm going to try some of Myron Mixon's tricks, see if we can't get a good brisket going here. I'm going to flip these over, rub them with some olive oil, and put a rub on them. Let them set. We're going to try and get them on by 1 o'clock. Alright, so I've taken the briskets out of the pan. You can see each one of those had a few cups of beef broth, and so that's all been soaked up into the meat. Got everything over here ready to put the rub on. Here's a rub I made. I can post that, but it's basically salt, pepper, different kinds of garlic, onion, but should be just a good basic rub that we're going to put on there. So let's get busy rubbing. Alright, so we got a little light coating of oil. Put all the rub on both sides. Got it rubbed in here. Pretty liberal coating. And we're going to go outside and get the fire ready. I'm going to use these as drip pans for the first hour, just to be sure we get some steam, since we're going to be cooking at about 350 degrees. I've had these wood chips soaking overnight. I'm going to pour the water off of them, put a few chunks down inside the coal. We're going to be cooking today on a Primo grill, and just want to kind of take everything out, show you from start to finish how I kind of get it done, and hopefully this is going to turn out real good. We've got our fire going here, coming up to temperature. Also put 2 drip pans that these were what the brisket was marinating in last night. These are going to be drip pans. So let's close this up, let it get up to temperature, let that water heat up some. And when it comes back right around there, it's going to be 300 down on the bottom. We'll get up top, open this up. When it starts getting a little closer to temperature, we'll close it down some, but go ahead and open that up so we get a full draw. You can see we're nowhere close to temperature yet, but we're getting there, and we've got a couple of chunks of hickory to throw on that fire, get some smoke going, and we'll finish the whole setup. Let's see, there we go. Alright, so we got 1.5 inches or so, maybe 2 inches down on the bottom vent. Looks like we're coming up close to 200 degrees. I think we're going to do just fine. This Primo is wonderful when it comes to cooking ribs or pulled pork, low and slow, keeping it down around 200. So hopefully that we'll be able to keep this brisket up 300 without it skyrocketing up to 400 or so. I'm looking forward to seeing how this works. I've always been a little bit scared of brisket. Maybe you have too. Alright, so it's 1 o'clock and we're right at 300 degrees. We've got our briskets out here ready. Pull everything up and see if we can't get some more smoke going. Get some of these chunks down in here. You can see we're really cooking pretty hot already. Alright, get these deflector plates on here. Love these things. And some gloves, so we got our water's already hot. Come in here. Great setup. Add just a little bit more water over here on this side. This is the hotter side. About ready to cook. I'm going to get the thicker end of the brisket here. Like Myron says, fat cap down. And hopefully we'll get some good burn ends off of this. So both of them are going to be right here at 300 degrees. Alright, let her smoke. So here's the setting up top. Obviously we've had the top open, so it'll get back up to temperature pretty quick. Here's what we're looking at down on the lower vent. And notice I hadn't been using kitchen gloves, but I've already washed my hands probably half a dozen times in the past hour, getting everything ready. Okay, while the brisket's smoking, first hour, we're going to let it smoke open like that. I've been listening to Myron. He says spritz it during the second hour. So we're going to take 2 cups of hot water and about 1/3 to 1/2 cup of brown sugar. He just says sugar, but you know, I think I'm going to like the brown sugar. I'm going to take a beef bouillon cube. Apparently, to go along with the moisture, we got some of that same beef flavor that we're going to be putting in there. So we're going to fix this up, let it cool down, put it in a spray bottle, and we'll be ready to go in another hour. Alright, so we're a half an hour in, and got the Spritzing juice in there ready to go. It's cooling off. Taking the time to clean off the Primo. Primo deserves to look nice since it cooks so nice. Still got some good smoke coming in here after half an hour, and just want to take a look. Oh, it looks beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Sit back and smell that all day. So we've been smoking about an hour, and we're getting up, been at 300 degrees for most of that time. Still got some good smoke. We're going to transfer the briskets into those pans over here, and we're going to start our spritzing. So let's see what we got here. Oh wow, those look really good. See, we're getting a good bark going. Got a lot of steam, a lot of juices rendering. You can hear that. See, it smells great. All right, well, let me get to work, and we'll come back. I am switching to some of these insulated rubber gloves since we got hot meat, but let me hurry and get this taken care of. Okay, we got our briskets back in the pans. Let's see about getting some spritzing going on here. Don't know how much to do, but this is the beef bouillon and sugar that mixed up about an hour ago. Went ahead and put a little pepper in there too. I was thinking that was going to be some good stuff. So one thing I've noticed about the Primo, that once it's been going for an hour or two and you have the lid open for a while, first of all, when I open the lid, I try and shut the lower vent. I shut that off. Still getting plenty of air coming up from the top, circling around, but it's just not pumping up through the bottom. And So since we've opened the lid, I had it up for a little while I was moving the briskets around. Put some more chunks down in the firebox to keep the temperature from just skyrocketing. I've gone back, closed off a little bit of the top vent, and also the bottom vent that we had open a couple inches. Now it's back down an inch and a half or so. Here, there we go. That's about a little over an inch, but it's holding pretty good at 300, and as long as it doesn't get out of control, I think we're going to have some good briskets. Open it back up in 20-30 minutes and spritz again. Alright, so we're 2 hours in. The temperature is holding good. We're steady right there about 340, 330. Everything's looking good. Let's open this thing up and take a quick look. Oh yeah. Alright. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take those pans off, set them over here and cover them up, and one more spritzing, and then we're going to take the water pans off because everything's going to be sealed up for the next 2 hours. I'll check the temperature. This is Myron Mixon's high and fast cooking of the brisket. So we're going to see how it turns out. I'm usually a big low and slow guy, so pleased to see the Primo holding steady here at between 300 and 350. It's a good thing. Alright, so here you can see some of the juice that's been rendered out of the meat. Got the point about 140 degrees. The flat down here looks really good. Again, we're going to cover these, so they're going to sit there and generate their own steam and moisture, keep themselves from drying out. We've got the drip pans over here we're taking out, and our grill's still holding at 300. So let me get to work and go back to fix these things up. I think it's worth noting here, I've got the flat, of course, smaller piece. It's already at 177, so we should get pretty tender. Try not to overcook that in the next 2 hours. All right, got everything wrapped back up. I got the point over here over the hotter spot of the firebox on the left side, and on the right side we got the flat. We're going to close them up, let them go to 300, 350 next 2 hours. Check the temps again, and I think we're going to have a good brisket. The bark is looking good, looking moist. Started doing some good rendering of the fat cap there, and looking forward to it. Wish you could smell this stuff. It's wonderful. Yeah, just so you can see what's going on. It's about 330, and the temperature's climbed over here up above 350. Not bad, but I have choked some of the oxygen down up top. And these are settings that would typically hold about 250 or so, but after a couple hours of running hot, we've got a lot more coals burning, and so it's producing a lot more heat. And I just want to make sure we keep everything down under 400. Alright, so it's 4:15, and just took off the flat, put it in here at 202 degrees. About perfect. Let's take a look at this thing. Look at that. Moist, got all the juices in here. I think at 203 degrees we're going to call it done. Take this thing out, let it rest, see if we can't soak some of those juices back up, and should be good in about 2 or 3 hours. Okay, so I brought the brisket inside. I'm about to rest it. gonna wrap it up in this towel, stick it in the cooler here, but just wanted to show off again this meat. You wouldn't believe the smell coming off of this. You can sit and take a look at how beautiful everything is. Moist, juicy, and it's got lots of juice in here that's going to get soaked back up into that meat. And that's just a nice looking brisket. It's 5 o'clock. We're holding at 350. Primo's done a great job the last 4 hours. We pulled the point out. We're at 206. So I think Myron's right. It looks like we got a winner here too. I mean, 4 hours. Let's take a look at this. The smell on this thing is just awesome. You see all this au jus that's here in the. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up and rest this thing for a couple hours and have a good meal with some friends tonight. All right, so we got it inside. We're about to wrap it up to rest it, but wanted to take a look and see about pulling off a little taste test here. God, I can't tell you how pretty that is, but you can see the juice on it. Once it gets through resting, it's going to be something else. Pull off a little bit here before we start slicing it. Alright, so here we got the brisket. It's rested a couple hours. I'm going to take it out. You see all the au jus we've got here. Let's cut this across.
Ooh-wee.
There we have it.
Very nice.
Looks good. Plenty of moisture in there. Decent smoke ring. Got a little bark on it. We're good.
Stop it.